This is Golf with Jay Delsing. A two-time All-American at UCLA. Competed in nearly 700 PGA Tour events, 7 professional wins to his credit. Over 30 years of professional golf experience. A member of the St. Louis Sports Hall of Fame and the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame. This is Golf with Jay Delsing.
Welcome into Golf with Jay Delsing. With Jay Delsing, I'm Dan McLaughlin. We are heard every Sunday morning, 8 to 10 here on 101 ESPN. Our guest will be World Golf Hall of Famer Judy Rankin, who was at the Ascension Charity Classic, really kicked things off a few weeks ago. And we'll catch up with her this morning. She's living, I believe, Jay, good morning to you. I think she's living down in Texas. Is that right?
Yeah, she absolutely is, Danny. Very surprised. She's living in Midland, Odessa, Texas, which is definitely a little off the beaten trail, but I've actually been there because I'm off the beaten trail.
Sure you are.
And Danny, the Bush family either grew up there. I think they grew up there, so they had a home there. They had some businesses there and stuff, so they were very prominent there. But it's a little bitty thing down there. It's a wind blows, man, and the golf course we played was tough.
Have you been able to catch your breath? It's a week ago that the Ascension Charity Classic wrapped up, and you played well, so congratulations. You played well.
Well, thanks. I would have liked to score better, but I got to be honest. I am, with the exception of probably, if you took away probably 4 holes, just 4 holes, I would probably, instead of shooting, what did I finish, 7 over par? I think I would have probably finished about 4 under.
Yeah.
Which would have been, right around the top 15 or so. And I just, when you don't play tournament golf, first of all, I want to stand up and applaud St. Louis for showing up, showing out, all of the corporate support. The golf course was fantastic. We had a great shootout with the Lou versus Mizzou. Thanks to Jeremy Macklin and all his boys, Witherspoon and those Denario Alexander, and I know I'm forgetting some, and then the big boy Prongs was out there, and Scott Perunovich and
Jake Neighbors, Marshall Falk.
Yeah, Marshall loves the game.
Yes, he does.
He cannot take it. He cannot
takes
take
it very seriously.
He cannot not take it seriously.
Exactly.
Yeah. So the players loved it. I mean, the food, Norwood did a phenomenal job. HNS and their group did a great job. You know who else we need to thank is Brandon Smith and his staff. Danny, you saw those guys. They were busting their butts on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, getting those pro-ams in, getting everybody around, herding the cats, getting them in, getting them out, turning the carts around, doing all that stuff. They did a phenomenal job. The food, UMC'd so extremely well, and you do it like you're up in there in an easy chair or a rocking chair. The pro-am party with our future governor, Mike Keogh, was fantastic. We also had Eric Engel from Ascension got up and spoke, and gosh, his energy is so completely infectious, and it was just phenomenal. So I almost look at it, Danny, like it's 2 events for me. Up until it's almost like the business of the golf is the most important, and you got to get the amateurs in. You got to get them through. You got to get them having a good, fun experience and getting to see the golf course and getting to interact. And then it's the part you get to play, and then you're just like a kid, like, let's go. Let's just see what this is like. I got to tell you what, Saturday morning it was cold.
It was cold.
I was
cold.
like, wait a minute.
Sunday wasn't that warm either.
No, but at least we didn't have the wind on Sunday, but we stood up on number 1, and I'm like, okay, this is cold. This is not warm. This is cold. So, yeah, it was a great tournament. I thought the golf course was in good shape. The greens got a little bit slower than we're used to at Norwood. That's no disrespect or knock on Mike Knoll, our superintendent, because he's following the guidelines of the PGA Tour and their staff. So that was nothing.
What do they typically roll at for a PGA Tour Champions event?
They try to get them about 11 and a half.
Okay.
And Norwood's always at 12.
Yeah, it seems to be that way. There were some of the holes where normally you would see a ball that would arrive on the green and roll off. For instance, number 9 is a real good example.
100%.
You know, it's got that kind of an odd green, and if you don't hit it right or if you can't spin the ball, you're going to have trouble. You can't stop the ball, you're going to have trouble. You got to, for the normal everyday weekend hacker like myself.
Yeah.
And there were some that got up there and rolled, but then roll off the green. I was just shocked.
Well, we saw Jason Schultz, who I played with on Friday, hit it out under that tree at number 9 and hit this slow screamer with like a 5-iron. That ball would roll off the green and almost into that left-hand bunker, and he stayed right in the middle of the green.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the difference for you, playing tournament golf as opposed to just trying to amp it up one time a year, it's a big difference.
It really is, Danny. I hate to admit it, but there's just certain habits that you get into for scoring and doing tournament golf stuff that you don't do otherwise. First of all, when you play at Norwood, let's just use Norwood because that's where we played. The rough is not usually as high as they had it here, and it's very challenging. It's very challenging because they have every different sort of rough out there. They've got long Azosia, they've got long Bermuda, they've got long bluegrass. And so that makes it more challenging. And then the hole locations, where they put the holes. We'll go on a regular old Saturday and the hole will be sit over there. You miss the green, you chip it up, it's not any big deal. But in a tournament, if you miss the green, you're like, I might not be able to get it on from here.
Sure.
And so that probably cost me, I'd say probably 3 shots for the week, probably a shot a day. I screwed stuff up from a shot a day. And then from the standpoint of knowing the golf course too well, I know that sounds like so dumb, but if you think about this, I know every nook and cranny of the golf course. I know the green breaks like 90% of those. But it's all done at this common speed that we play at every single day of the year until the tournament comes, and then they change the speed. And if it was faster, it would be easier to adjust. It's slower, it just catches you off guard.
Yeah.
It just doesn't. So I wound up leaving a lot of putts short that I wouldn't typically, do so. So, but all in all, the community wins, Danny. This is about community. This is about North County. I know we're going to be able to deliver a huge, nice, big, fat check that you and I are both extremely proud to be ambassadors for. And, that's what it's really all about. I mean, Y.E. Yang won the competition. I wanted, personally, Bernard Langer to win that playoff. I just did. I know Bernard. It's no knock against Y.E. I think it just represents the tournament just a little better standing to have Bernard Langer, the all-time leading money winner and the all-time leading tournament winner, win our championship. But at the end of the day, it was awesome.
Yeah.
It was a great event.
Weather was great. It could not have gone off any better.
I ran into Steve Stricker a couple different times. He came up, gave me a nice big bro hug, and he just said, because he has an event up in Madison, and he's very involved, and he's got American Family. And so they've got some deep pockets. They've actually been running their event, Danny, probably maybe as much as 10 years longer than we have here. And so they're a little further down the road, but we talked about that. I talked about him coming in town and how important it was. And he was just great.
Yeah.
He's so supportive, and he's got his daughters in tow. One's usually caddying for him. His wife, Nikki, will be there. Will caddy if the kids aren't. He's also got a daughter that turned pro and is trying to play. So that was interesting. I had a lot of people come up to me and just tell me how nice it was to have a golf tournament in St. Louis. They enjoy the town. They enjoy the hotels, and they love going to the ballpark. Even though they did commiserate a little bit with the club being down, but that's part of it. They know what down golf is, so down sports happen sometimes.
What was it like having your daughter on the bag?
Ridiculous.
You looked like you were enjoying every minute of it.
I really did. I got to tell you, she said some of the coolest things to me, Danny, that are from an encouragement encouraging standpoint, where she would say, Dad, you're just playing so well. Just keep doing it. These putts are going to start dropping. They're going to start dropping. Then at the end of the day, she'd be like, they didn't drop today, but they're going to drop tomorrow. And it was just so fun. I mean, and, Danny, these other players are just so quirky. David Frost is just a strange duck.
You were paired with him twice.
I know. I got him twice. And then on Friday's round, we got this fella named Cliff Kresge, and Cliff was nuts.
Now he was hitting right-handed, putting left-handed, correct?
Yes,
was he
hitting
the one?
The ball right-handed, putting left-handed. But Danny, it was weird. Did you see this? He would stand over his putt to get a sense for what it was going to do without his ball marked right-handed.
Yes.
So as a player, you're trying to get a sense of the flow of the group, and with him, it was like, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I mean, there is no flow. He was at one point, Danny, he hit that putt on number 7, and he said he's living in Nashville now, so he's got a little southern draw, and he said, I just got robbed of a beautiful roll. And I was like, what?
Yeah. You missed the putt, man.
Come on, man. What are you talking? Get out of the way.
Yeah.
You missed. Let's go. Move on. Let somebody else have a shot at rolling one in.
It was funny. Well, I was watching that, and I was watching because I play so much with you. I know how fast you play. And we were talking about it in the group that was following you. There was some slow play.
Yeah, no doubt.
And I'm sitting there going, gee, this got to be driving Jay crazy with how slow this is going. I know you're used to it, but it's got to drive you crazy.
I prepare for it because I hate it. I mean, I just don't like slow play. I like getting up there. I like being ready to play. I like, somebody said to me, they're standing on the tee. I was like, go. You don't have to. I don't care about the honor. Go ahead, man. Hit it if you're ready. We can do this. It's
right.
Okay. I found David Frost really slow to play with,
I thought he was,
and relatively annoying. In terms of just some of the things. He was so concerned about everybody's shadow, and their golf cart was, at one point in time, Mackenzie and I were standing about 30 yards behind him, and he was hitting in the fairway, and he turned around himself and like, really?
Yeah.
This is bothering you back here. And we were bothering him. So we moved. And look, fine. It's fine, but it's like, come on, man. You're 63 or 4 years old. It's over. Just get up and hit the ball. Let's put on a show for these people or something, but forget the shadows. He said to me one time, Danny, this is funny. We're standing on the tee. I think it was like number 2, so it's early in the round. There's some shadows out there. And he said, actually, the whole tee was in shadows. And he said, I could see your shadow. And I'm like, my initial thought was, oh, sorry. And then I looked down, I'm like, wait a minute. The whole dang ground's a shadow.
Right.
So I said, where?
You said where to him?
Yeah, I said, where? And he's like, right there. And I'm like, the whole tee's in a shadow, dude. What are you talking about? And he was like, no, it's right there. And I'm like, whatever. And I'd be like,
yeah, just move, just do whatever.
Let's go.
Yeah.
I don't want to slow this down anymore. And did you notice how quirky he is? He took 2 practice swings, Danny, with every single shot.
Yep.
So playing with him on Sunday when he shot 77, multiply that by 3. That's how many swings he made.
It was a long round.
Yikes.
I thought the crowds are great. They turned out again, especially on Sunday. It was good after day 1. John Daly was 3 under after day 1. I think that helps the event.
Absolutely.
Longer was okay day 1, then turn it up day 2 and day 3. So
absolutely.
When you get the big guns going, the crowds are going to come out.
Should we talk about what John Daly did on Sunday?
Yeah.
I
didn't know this until you told me off air.
He made a snowman, which we have another name for that, on number 15, and 2 clubs bit the dust on that hole. And they're from opposite ends of the bag, Danny. The driver went bye-bye and went flying into the woods to the right, and the putter did not survive that hole. There were 2 casualties on that hole. You could call them golf fatalities.
Yeah, you could.
His driver died and his putter died. So when he got into 17, and I was standing up with my buddy Will Salisbury, and he was kind enough to buy, and his Spectrum Reach bought hospitality on 17. And he looks down, and I'm like, do you see what JD's putting with? And he's like, what is it? It's not his putter. And I said, that is not his putter.
Yeah.
And then, Danny, when he got it close to the hole, he grabbed his wedge. And so he putted the shorties with his wedge and the long ones with his hybrid. And he was on the move.
Yeah.
He was not happy. and he was on the move. So, but now we could tell the story that in contrast, what he did last year in the Pro-Am, he may or may not have had a couple of Tito's, and when he got to number 13, he jumped the fence and went over into Luther North and started kicking field goals.
Right. You never know what you're going to get.
Hey. And then on Saturday of last year, on John Daly Bobblehead Day, when we're giving out John Daly bobbleheads, he made it 3 holes.
And decided to exit stage left.
Exit stage left. I can no longer do this. So I love him. I absolutely love him. It's a little tough on the crowds because he's such a draw.
Yeah.
He's such a draw, and he still really can play.
So the announcement was made that there'll be a 3-year extension. We talked about it on the show last week, but Stiefel has stepped up. Compliance Solutions has stepped up.
Yep.
And this stays in for 3 more years. So this is huge.
Couldn't be happier.
And it's our tip of the cap.
Absolutely. We'll tip our cap in just a minute. But Ron K., first of all, what do you say about a guy like him when you look over at the Cardinals and the patch they're wearing is Stiefel? You look over at the Blues and the patch they're wearing is Stiefel. And now you look at the PGA Tour Champions event, and the title sponsorship is going to go to Stiefel. And so we couldn't be happier. I got to tell you, massive, massive thanks to Eric Engel and to our great friend Liz at the CFO at Ascension for starting this. And their heart and their energy and their desire, it's just great peeps. And so we're going to tip our cap to the Stiefel organization and Ron K. 314-966-0303, guys, is the number for Dean Team Volkswagen of Kirkwood. Call Colin Burnt. He'll treat you like family. He's a great guy. They sponsor the tip of the cap. And Ron K. is now the title sponsor. And the Stiefel organization, they've been around, oh my gosh, over 100 years, and they do nothing but support the community. They do nothing but support the community and causes and do good and do what's right. And so we love it. And we're tipping our cap to Ron. We're tipping our cap to Compliance Solutions and Mark Lambert and his team, Wes Johnson and those guys. And Danny, the other thing I'm tipping my cap to, we're tipping the cap to every daggone thing. Folds of Honor Friday, D. We got to talk about that in another segment. So we're ending this tip of the cap. I'm all over the place, but we want to thank Dean Team Volkswagen of Kirkwood. 314-966-0303. Colin Burnt's our guy. Call him. He'll take care of you. I'm out, Danny. I don't know. I'm muttering over here.
So one more thought, though. There are people out there saying, okay, great, 3-year extension. What happens, though, when the BMW Championship is happening at Belle Reve?
Great call.
And all of a sudden you got the Ascension, just a few weeks away from that. So
right.
how are they going to handle this, you think?
That is yet to be determined, but we're very, very mindful of that, D. And what that means, folks, is that if you remember just a couple weeks ago, Keegan Bradley won the BMW Championship out at Castle Pines. And the beauty about the BMW tournament is it moves every year. Right? So it's moving, and so it's going to be in St. Louis in 2026. It's a playoff event, so it's later in the year, and so we don't want to have 2 tournaments in the same week or even back-to-back weeks. That won't be great for the golf community. But what will be great for the golf community is to spread it out. And so we're going to figure that out. That's yet to be determined, but we're going to figure it out. And you got to remember the significance about 2026 is Tiger Woods.
That's
Just
right.
Keep that circled in your mind, folks. Tiger Woods be out. It'll be a game changer, D.
You think he's going to the Champions Tour?
I absolutely
Were
do.
guys talking about that at all?
Absolutely they were. And Danny, the only reason, we'll get Miller back on the show, but we've had Miller Brady back on the show, and he runs a Champions Tour, and they have meetings once a week for the Tiger effect and what it's going to do to this tour. And so we have been told look, a lot can happen. Tiger's, he keeps things his card's so close to the vest, a lot can happen. But we'll see, and we'll know. And, man, I got to tell you, if Tiger Woods plays at Norwood in 2026, it darn near doesn't matter when you have that tournament.
No, it wouldn't matter. People
but
come
when
out.
you do have it, it's going to be awesome. And you want to talk about people coming out? Look out. If you build it, they will come. It's going to be just like that.
That's Jay Delsing. I'm Dan McLaughlin. We call this Golf with Jay Delsing. Up next, Judy Rankin, World Golf Hall of Famer, will be our guest. This is Golf with Jay Delsing.
I'm delighted to welcome the Amateur Players Tour to the Golf with Jay Delsing show. The APT team has worked so hard to establish a national golf tour for amateurs. Folks, don't miss out on this opportunity. If you love golf and ever wondered what all the fuss about tournament golf is, then this tour is for you. We just released the 2024 schedule, and it is a beast. There's 21 events currently in the metropolitan St. Louis area, with many more to come. But check out these golf courses: Paynes Valley, Ozark National, Stonewolf, Ambrier, Persimmon Woods, Gateway National, and a 36-hole event on Norwood's West Course, and many more. Okay, so the courses are certainly cool and nice, but what's really neat is the way the events are run and how they are run. The APT team does a fantastic job of closely monitoring handicaps and ensuring a good and fair competition. There are 5 divisions, a year-long points competition, major championships, elevated events, and much, much more. Right now, there are over 6,000 members in 41 different local chapters across the country, and all that's happened in just over 5 years. Join now and don't miss out on the best tournament golf in the country, run for amateurs by amateurs themselves. Go to amateurplayerstour.com. That's amateurplayerstour.com.
This is Paul Lazinger, and you're listening to Golf with Jay Delsing.
Daugherty Business Solutions has been enhancing the business of our customers for the last 37 years. How do we do it? Through our expertise in technology, better use of data and analytics, artificial intelligence, and machine learning. We roll up our sleeves and collaborate. We build applications and effectively communicate with our partner clients to bring their goals and objectives to the finish line. Our award-winning Access Point program is a community game changer. With nearly 100 students in the program, mostly young African-American females are making between $55,000 and $60,000 per year right out of high school. That's right, $55,000 to $60,000 a year right after high school graduation. That's when they begin their training. CEO Ron Daugherty believes the talent is equally distributed, but access to that opportunity is not. So here's Access Point, providing more and more opportunity for those in and around our community. It's Daugherty Business Solutions.
Hi, this is Peter Jacobson, and you're listening to Golf with Jay Delsing.
Are you driving an out-of-warranty car? It's only a matter of time before your out-of-warranty vehicle is in the shop costing you thousands of dollars. Auto repair costs are up nearly 20% from last year, which is 4 times the rate of inflation. If an unexpected breakdown happened today, would you be ready for that? Well, now you can be with a plan through CarShield. Even if your car is just over 3 years old, it's still prone to expensive costs. Your car is more than just getting you from point A to point B. Traveling by car is a way of life. From picking up your kids to going to a new restaurant, cars are a daily essential. When you enroll in a car protection plan through CarShield, you can look forward to the following. The price will never go up no matter how many claims you file, or no matter how high the mileage on your car increases. CarShield offers protection plans that start as low as $100 per month. That's $100 per month. They have repair coverage for up to 5,000 different parts of your vehicle. Plus, when your car breaks down and you're stuck on the side of the road, you get 24/7 coast-to-coast roadside assistance. You also get complimentary towing and rental car options. CarShield has my back when my car breaks down, and they can have yours too. Call CarShield today at 800-465-6550 or visit carshield.com. It's CarShield, proud sponsor of the Golf with Jay Delsing show.
What a pleasure it is to bring into Golf with Jay Delsing. That's Jay Delsing. I'm Dan McLaughlin, one of the most recognizable voices, faces, and players of the game. A member of the World Golf Hall of Fame. She joined the LPGA Tour in 1962 at the age of 17 and won 26 tour events, and that's Judy Rankin. Judy, thanks for your time. We certainly appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. Anyway, I'm happy to talk to you all. I just recently had a visit to St. Louis, and it was great.
Well, Judy, this is, St. Louis is where you're from. Can you tell the listeners a little bit about how you started the game? It's just fascinating.
Well, without going into great detail, my dad was a public course player. He was really fascinated with Ben Hogan. And when lights first came to be at driving ranges, one night he took my mother and I, and we sat on the bench behind him and watched him hit golf balls. And like every 6-year-old in the world, I wanted to try. And it turned out I could kind of hit the ball. And he became fascinated with the fact that I could kind of hit the ball. And I was very, very small growing up. And a kind of, well, I guess what I would call a slight or a skinny kid. And so I was very small, and by the age of 7, I didn't really see a golf course until later on the year I was 7. From that time until the first time I saw a golf course, I hit balls in the basement of the Chase Hotel off of Forest Park. A golf pro named Bob Green had a driving range in the basement that people came and hit golf balls in the winter. And it was down in that basement that I learned to swing a club. So my very first golf was at AAA in Forest Park. And it turned out the membership there was very kind to me. Bob Green was the pro there, by the way. And the membership was very kind to me and gave me all kinds of privileges to play and practice. So at the same time that all this was happening, my mother was becoming very ill. My father quit playing golf and just became, really interested in my golf. And I sort of learned through this trial and error method. So those were my beginnings.
Wow, Judy, the Chase, back in the day, the Chase Park Plaza Hotel was kind of the hub of all things cool back in St. Louis. I think it was. I know that when my dad played baseball, that was a little bit before this time, but the Chase was really happening.
Yes, it was. And one of the things I can tell you, I always say my dad was a bit of a taskmaster, but he also loved to do nice things for me. And I think I was about 11 or 12, and he took me to the Chase Hotel to see Bobby Darin. And I cannot tell you how special that was at the time.
Awesome.
How does a girl make it at the age of 17 on the LPGA Tour? That had to be tough. You were 17 years old when that all started.
Well, not very successfully, really. I only played 9 tournaments that year. The first check I ever won was $50. And I'd love to rib my now pretty good friend Jack Nicklaus, because his first check was only $33. And,
you got him by $17. That's pretty good.
I know. Anyway, that first year was pretty tough. It really was. And I didn't go back until later in the year that I was 18, and then I stuck. So I became a pretty decent money winner, but money in those days was barely to take care of yourself. And I didn't win for 6 years.
Judy, did you feel like you had to, it was really how you cut your teeth in real golf. I hate to say real golf, but that professional game, you probably were learning on the fly.
Well, I was absolutely, because I had I had a really good golf game if nothing went wrong as a teenager. I was a right to left player. I wasn't very familiar with the wind. My dad was kind of one who wanted me to. He wanted some sort of perfection like Hogan was. So sometimes if I didn't hit a good shot, when I was a little girl, he'd have me go get the ball and walk back and hit it again. Nancy Lopez always said that her dad made her go find it and get it in the hole. So I think I was a little bit short game challenged. I was a really good bunker player. That, for some reason, was just second nature to me. And I maybe learned some of that later on in my life from Bob Toski. Yeah, it was hard. But I was spending my days with people like Mickey Wright and Kathy Whitworth and Betsy Rawls and people who and they did look out for me. It was kind of an amazing amazing friendships that I had on the LPGA tour, and I will tell you, if they had anything to do with it, nothing bad was ever going to happen to me.
Judy, and it's almost like you're a traveling family out there, isn't it? Especially, when you're not making a lot of money, so you'll eat together, you'll share rooms, you'll share rides, you do whatever you can to save a couple bucks. Well,
it's true, and life is very different when the money isn't flowing. Even if you were making a lot of money, you weren't making any money. I think that's so different in professional golf today because everybody talks about their team, and I think we all know, and probably most people know, how expensive it is to travel a team. But no, your sports psychologist was your father, your husband, or your caddy. And so it was very different. But they're amongst tour players, at least the women, and I'm sure it's true with the men. Maybe it's not as exposed, but there are such great friendships, and we would all look out for each other and look out for the newbie on the block and this and that, and that's I think that is true today, but not to as great an extent.
It's interesting. The game is so interesting, Judy, because I think you develop this mutual respect for your fellow competitors because you know how hard it is, and when you're going head to head with them, you want to beat their brains in, but you're never really rooting for anything bad to happen. It's the strangest thing because I would much rather win than you win, but someone standing over a 4-foot putt and it's not really the way you want to win. It's them missing. You feel better if you do something yourself, I guess.
Yeah, I the best way to put it is I hope you play well and I hope I play better.
Yeah, just a little better.
Yeah. So, I think there probably are a few people here and there who do have the wrong thoughts, and it usually comes back to bite you.
It really does. It's so weird. Judy, so talk to us about, you were the first LPGA player to ever win over $100,000 in a season, and then over $150,000. That had to feel like you were rolling in it.
I did. We did. My caddy did. And, as everybody knows, it's kind of gone in a flash, but it was, those were very good times. And our son was 8 years old. And so it was a good time in our life, but it was starting to be a really difficult time in our life because of a boy and school and a boy who loves sports and all those things. So that's right about the time when it just was becoming less and less possible to take him out of school. And he had been in a private school the early years where they'd fix it so I could take him and do things. But now all of a sudden he's in, more serious school, and he's playing sports. So, and my husband was a baseball player in college. So, we were pretty intent on, if you're playing a sport, you're on a team, you're on a team. You do it. And so it started becoming more difficult. And as you know, probably just reading stuff, I started with some fairly bad back trouble in 1973. And as the years went on, it was becoming more chronic. So I played through the 70s, played pretty well most of the time, but right at the end of my playing, I really played poorly. My back was about done. My son was in high school, and one day I just said no more.
Judy Rankin is our guest, World Golf Hall of Famer. And Judy, you gravitated towards the media side of golf and became one of the top commentators in the game. So how did that all come about for you, the television side and becoming a commentator and becoming one of the lead analysts and faces of the game?
Well, it was, I think there was divine intervention. I'm not sure. But I had walked away from playing. I had one procedure on my back, which actually made me worse. And I got a call from ABC Sports. And these I wouldn't say these were really great times. It was a really good time to be home. Our son was in high school, but I didn't see any future, any place in golf. I always loved golf on television. As I told you earlier, I still do. But I got a call from ABC Sports. They asked if I would be interested in being an on-course commentator like Bob Rosberg and come to the Women's Open. And I could not stand up at this point in my life and talk to two people. I just would almost panic. But I didn't panic then. I said yes. And then I thought about it after I hung up the phone. And I wondered if I was going to be able to do this. But I went to Salem, Massachusetts. I went to the Women's Open. Rossi and I, fortunately, were already friends. And I learned later that he's the one who put my name forward. But it was the long passed away now Frank Hannigan from the USGA who said, yes, let's give her a try. And I went, and here's the blessing part. That first time I worked, I never had to look in a camera. I could lean against a tree and talk. And so I was able to talk to Jim McKay and to Dave Marr and these people. And I think had they made me look in a camera that very first time, I don't know if you'd talk to me today.
Is that right?
Wow.
That's amazing. So what made you calm the nerves? How did you get out of it?
It was kind of over time, but the big move, the huge move for me was I think I did the mixed team that same year with the same crew. But the following year, they asked me to come to the Men's Open in Detroit at Oakland Hills. And now I really wondered if I had lost my mind. And I'm here with all these people, and I'm sitting between Jim McKay and Jack Whitaker and these people, I think, at a meeting, and I'm wondering, who are you and what are you doing?
Why am I here?
Yeah. So I worked at the Men's Open, and things changed. I had to look in a camera and things, but it happened kind of gradually. And I think in the beginning, if I had something to say into the camera, it was kind of memorized. So I got away with it because I was pretty good at the on-course thing, or let me say I wasn't bad. I was told I was a little timid, but you wouldn't maybe even remember back to 1985, but on-course commentators didn't have the space they have now. You only spoke when you were spoken to,
and they'd go holes without even talking to you guys back then.
Yes, and you didn't have control of your own mic. There was a guy in a truck who turned you off and on. So it wasn't the expanse. I grew into TV as the role expanded, and every time that something changed a little bit, I was at the forefront of it changing. So it was easier for me. I think people who come out now and are good right off, I think that's pretty good because they have control of their own mics. They and now some carry a monitor, but most on-course commentators prefer to focus on what they see at hand. I did not like the monitor thing, and they tried that on me way long ago, like at an Open Championship at Turnberry, and this was when they were first trying this stuff, and I couldn't see it. They didn't have the sun worked out at that point. But many on-course commentators never did use anything like that, and they go simply by what they see live and what they hear in their ear. And some people get it and the rhythm of it and the people talking in their ear right away, and some people who you'd think would be so good just never get it.
Judy, you're responsible for two really good friends of ours, Julie Inkster and Dottie Pepper, for also I guess I should say encouraging them to jump into the booth.
Well, that's my claim to fame. I took Dottie to TV for the first time. I took Dottie to a U.S. amateur. They needed an on-course person, and it was near her home when she was at the Cliffs in Asheville, North Carolina. And she did on-course work for us first time right out of the box, and she was really quite good. And we've been friends for a long time. You just knew she was going to be able to do this. She's got the right mentality, the right temperament, and she's just feisty enough to, be out there on the PGA Tour and be well accepted and all that. So, I think she's turned out to be wonderful. She asked me once, she said, somebody, NBC or somebody, she moved around a little bit before she got settled at CBS, but she asked me one time, said they want me to go do this men's event, blah, 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 blah. And I said, absolutely, go do it because I think you'll stick. And it worked. So that was great. I urged Julie Inkster to give it a try when she was offered the chance. I think Julie has a lot to offer, but she just never seemed to fall in exactly the right spot. And she has such a full life otherwise and still plays such tremendous golf that I'm not sure, it's what she needs in her life.
Yeah, the Fox stuff was tough. It was just tough. I was on the team with Julie. She is one of the neatest human beings I've ever met, but we just never got it together over there.
Yeah, I don't know why, because she should be great, but I think I don't want to compare the two because they're not the same at all. But in the odd way, I think that Kevin Kistner is coming off pretty well. In Julie's world, she should have too. And I'm not sure why that was. And sometimes it's who's in your ear. Sometimes it's the people you're working with. Sometimes, it's just good luck or bad luck. I had the good luck of working with so many good men. And I know it helped me to get through the early times and into the point where this is when TV golf gets fun, when you're not memorizing things, when you're thinking, and when your brain works, and when you can react to things, and that's when it's a fun job.
So, Judy, sit back for a minute. I am going to list off these achievements. World Golf Hall of Fame member in 2000, LPGA Tour leading money winner in 1976 and 77, LPGA Player of the Year in 76 and 77, the Vari Trophy in 73, 76, 77, the GW AA Female Player of the Year in 76 and 77. You've also won the Patty Berg Award in 99, the Bob Jones Award, which is the highest award the USGA ever gives out in 2002, the Susan B. Coleman Award from the LPGA in 07, and then the old Tom Morris Award in 2010. These are, I mean, obviously the World Golf Hall of Fame is any of these. These are incredible awards. I mean, what was it like? I mean, what do you look when you look back to go, really? How did I do all this stuff?
Well, I think you said it very well. No, I think that, and sometimes in whatever you're doing, whether it's your job or a sport or whatever, you're thought of as a pioneer, but the truth is, all you're doing what everybody else is doing every day, you're putting one foot in front of another, and you're trying to do a good job at what you're doing. And I think I was lucky in the television and the media world, or now when I have the opportunity to speak a little bit or something, I think I talk in fairly relatable terms. That's probably because, I learned golf in the early going, like I said, a trial and error method, and, not all the fancy words, just do this. And if you do it well one time, do it again and show me it wasn't a mistake. So, but I think much of it happened because I had longevity, and on a personal note, what I think about myself now that I'm almost 80 is, unless something is really wrong, I genuinely like people, and maybe that comes through.
For
we all
sure.
know people like that. I think, Jay, you're probably like that. And so, if you don't make it, it doesn't hurt not to make too many enemies along the way.
Well, Judy, we can't thank you enough for your time as we've talked about a World Golf Hall of Famer. So it's incredible to get you on as one of our guests, and we've enjoyed your work for so many years. And thanks for doing this. We certainly appreciate it.
Well, thank you. I'm getting one more shot at working in a couple of weeks at the Solheim Cup. So
awesome.
Go red, white, and blue.
Oh, that's true. That's true. And the television world has determined that they're going to let us be partisan, which we're always trying to be very neutral. But this time we're going to see what it's like if the commentators are very partisan. So it'll be interesting. Karen Stupples and I will go back and forth.
Oh, that'll be fun. That'll be fun. Looking forward to it.
We had Karen on the show, a couple months ago?
Yeah.
What a neat lady.
She is so intelligent about the game. She really is. And I like Karen a lot.
Judy, again, thanks for doing this. Good luck on the coverage, and we'll catch up soon.
Goodbye. Thank you both.
You bet. That's Judy Rankin, World Golf Hall of Famer, and this is Golf with Jay Delsing.
If you're in the market for a new or used vehicle, any make or model, then you need to visit the Dean Team Volkswagen of Kirkwood. They are the official vehicle provider of the Golf with Jay Delsing show. My daughter and I both drive vehicles supplied by Colin and the Dean Team Volkswagen of Kirkwood, and it's because we know we can trust them. They made the car buying experience painless and easy, and their customer service is second to none. Every single step of the car buying experience was taken care of for us. You can reach Colin at 314-966-0303, and he will answer all of your questions and put your mind at ease. The Dean Team Volkswagen of Kirkwood has new or pre-owned vehicles to be purchased or leased, whichever you prefer. Once you visit the Dean Team Volkswagen on Manchester in Kirkwood, you'll be a customer for life because they will treat you like family. The Dean Team Volkswagen of Kirkwood, the official vehicle provider of the Golf with Jay Delsing show.
This is Chris Nagel. And you're listening to Golf with Jay Delsing.
Are Are you tired of watching your golf scores go up every year? Despite new equipment and even a couple lessons, you still fight that slice or your inability to get that ball up and down out of the bunker? Well, get ready to experience better golf with Elevate Golf. At Elevate Golf, we're changing the way golfers practice with our innovative and data-driven approach to learning and, most importantly, improving. We have an array of membership options where you can find the perfect fit for your golf, your lifestyle, and your budget. Whether you start in our full-service gym, the short game area that has real sand bunker, or one of our 7 TrackMan simulator bays, the team at Elevate Golf will do a complete assessment of you and your game, which is crucial because if you don't know where you're starting from, it's nearly impossible to attain a goal or a new level. Call us today at 636-265-0557 or visit us at elevategolf.com. That's ELV, the number 8, golf.com. Contact us today and get ready to play better golf.
Hi, this is Adam Betts from Family Golf and Learning Center. At FGLC here in Kirkwood, we feature a double-decker driving range, 2 large grass tees with Tahoma Bermuda grass. You want to work on your short game? We have a short game area too, which features a 20,000 square foot green, 3 bunkers, and Zoysia surrounds. Also at Family Golf and Learning Center, don't forget about our 9-hole par 3 course, the indoor TrackMan simulators, and our performance center. If you're looking for the best golf instruction, regardless of skill, we can help. Find out more at FamilyGolfOnline.com. That's FamilyGolfOnline.com. Family Golf and Learning Center. We make St. Louis better at golf.
I am delighted to welcome Folds of Honor to the Golf with Jay Delsing show. Lieutenant Colonel Dan Rooney and his team donate 91% of all funds directly to these scholarships. And oh, by the way, to date, 52,000 of these life-changing scholarships have been awarded since 2007. 45% of those 52,000 scholarships have been awarded to minority recipients. So join the Folds of Honor team today and donate at foldsofhonor.com.
Golf with Jay Delsing rolls on this Sunday morning. We hope that you enjoyed our visit with Judy Rankin, World Golf Hall of Famer, and grew up playing here in St. Louis, and of all places, grew up at Forest Park, which is so cool, which adds to the legacy and the story of Judy Rankin. And that's Jay Delsing. I'm Dan McLaughlin. We probably don't talk about that enough, of the great players that have come out of here and this area, and growing up, where they grow up and how they did it and how they got to this level. Growing up at Forest Park and her dad teaching her the game of golf or getting her involved in it. That was cool to hear.
Oh, Danny, it couldn't be better. And I mean, look at what she's doing now, paying it forward with the JTR Suitcase Foundation, because when she qualified for that championship down in Orlando, the members bought her a suitcase, because she didn't have anything to put her clothes in, and inside the suitcase was $400 that offset part of the travel, and so now she's got the JTR Suitcase Fund where she pays it forward for West Texas Juniors and Volunteers of America, Volunteers of America Classic, and she's just Danny. I don't know how to convey this through the radio. But we're sitting there with her. There's just something special about her. She's got this.
I just think about watching so many years of golf with her as a commentator.
I know. And she's 79 years old, and she's just got this calmness, this classiness, this whatever that intangible is. It just works, man. And she talks, and you kind of stop, and you're like, oh. It's that voice.
Yeah.
It's that, and she's extremely conscientious. She, man, I wish she could help me with my words because I am so dang wordy, but she says a lot with a few words.
Did you know her all that well growing up in terms of, you knew about her probably, but did you see her coming back for events or anything of that nature that you may be involved with? And, golf is a community sport, so it's going to bring people together in different generations. Obviously, you're a different generation, but did you know her all that well or know about her all that well?
I knew about her, and because I'm a public golf course player as well. And one of the things that let's be really clear on, folks, is that people talk to Danny and I all the time like, we can't afford golf. We can't afford. I don't want to hear it. I do not want to hear that. That is not the case. If you're paying attention, folks, you can go to U.S. Clubs for Kids, and depending on the age of your children, you can get a bag and a plenty of set of clubs for under $100. And that will last your kids at least a full summer. And then you go to your local muni. You could go to, Danny, you sit there and think about some of the great public courses that we have here. We have Ambrier on the east side. We have Stonewolf over there. We have Peevely Farms on this side. We have
I think a Gateway
on the east side. We have Aberdeen. We have Forest Park, we don't want to forget about. There's tons and tons of opportunities. We have the landings down at Chesterfield if you want to play out there. And if you want to go farther west, we got all the great courses that Jeff Smith and Lucy manage out there. We've got, and then there's Links of Dardenne, there's Golf Club of Wentzville, the Bluffs, and it just goes on and on. I don't want to hear that. That's just you're not paying attention if you think that golf's only for rich kids. Now, if you're thinking, well, my kid's got to belong to a country club to be good, that's wrong too. Danny, I would say 95% of the guys from my generation that played the PGA Tour grew up just like you and I did. And you and I grew up so similarly in low middle class families. We had a lot of love and all that. I'm not saying that, but we had tiny little houses, D, and it was like, get outside and go do something.
How did you figure out that you gravitated towards golf? Because your dad is a major league player.
Yeah.
And a really good one.
Yeah.
And a longtime major league player. And all of a sudden you would think, well, I want to be like Dad. I'm gonna play baseball. But you gravitated, though, towards the game of golf. I just find that incredibly interesting, and the fact that you're so tall. Trying to find clubs that would fit for you to play.
So we probably never talked about that, but so as you know, back in our generation, it was church league ball. When until you get to high school, and then once I got to high school, St. Louis U High would not let me play golf and baseball. It was still it was all in the springtime, and that sucked. Why did they care? I don't even know why they cared, but I couldn't do it.
So you had to play one or the other.
Yeah, so I had to choose. I had to play one or the other, but I wound up playing golf because I wanted more action. Like if there would have been a baseball game going on every day, I'd have been fine. I'd have never touched golf clubs, but there weren't. We had one practice once a week and one game once a week, and a lot of times those got rained out and stuff, or something happened, and so I was out. I'm like, I need something to do. I want a sport to play. And so, and my dad I'd seen my dad play golf once, so I wound up doing the golf because I'd seen it. No one in our family played tennis, but you can't play tennis by yourself either.
Right.
It's a solo, there's not a team, but you better have somebody on the other side of the net, or else it's not going to be fun either. So it's just kind of worked itself out like that. And then I remember growing from my freshman year down at St. Louis U High, Danny, I was a number 2 guard. I was a shooting guard. My sophomore year, I was a center. So I went from playing.
Growth spurt, huh?
I had a little growth spurt, and I went from 5'9" to like 6'3" or so. It was crazy. I was tripping over the free throw line. My body was not my own, and it was pretty crazy. My golf clubs all of a sudden got real, and really small, really short, and it wasn't until between my freshman and sophomore year in college that I figured out I was able to figure out how to stick some wooden dowels in the end of them to extend them, and it threw the lengths all out of whack, but it made it way easier to swing, and so I did that, and that changed the game for me.
Well,
it absolutely did.
It's the other thing too, is that you grew up with a set of clubs that was your mom's clubs.
Yeah.
And now, to your point of, you don't want to hear that it's too expensive to play the game. There are ways to go get the equipment. There are ways to play this game. There's ways to get on golf courses. So you don't like to hear that excuse that it's too expensive.
Danny, if you go to a country, even if it's a country club, and your son or daughter is caddying there, and they're showing the heart to want to play, and to be around the game. I mean, I wanted to be around it. I just wanted to caddy. I wanted to work in the shop. I wanted to do I just wanted to be around the golf course. And that pro's going to see that and take your son or daughter in, or make some phone calls. So don't give it. That's just an uninformed opinion that's not unsubstantiated. It's not real. Is it expensive to play golf at a country club? Yes. That's why we have public golf courses. And you can show up after 5 o'clock when the sun stays out till 9, and you can probably play for $10.
Right.
I mean, come on, man. It just doesn't work. So I just want more people knowing that it doesn't come close, Danny, to what it costs you to play select hockey. How about those uniforms? What about all of your equipment,
the uniforms,
man?
yeah, ice time, all that stuff.
Right, that's expensive. And listen, I've sat through the volleyball stuff with my daughters. Your son, Barrett, is one of the top under 14, under 15, under 15 soccer players in the country, much less the area. That's not cheap either. So golf is, if anything, golf could be on the lesser end of some of those costs.
Okay, on the call at the Solheim Cup is our guest. And we're going to talk about the Solheim Cup coming up. What it is, how it works, what it all entails. This is Golf with Jay Delsing.
Do you remember the golden rule? I'm sure you do, but just in case, it goes like this. Treat people the way that you'd like to be treated. At People's National Bank, that one statement is the cornerstone of what this bank is all about. Locally owned, with 23 locations in Southern Illinois and the metropolitan St. Louis area, People's National Bank parlays a robust menu of commercial or personal banking services you could possibly need with a friendly yet hardworking Midwestern attitude. Maybe you just want to do business with a bank whose entire team lives in the same neighborhoods as we do. If you're like me and doing business with someone you trust is important to you, then People's National Bank is the bank for you. Jason Rantham, local president, is here for you to call, and he'll answer any questions you may have. His personal cell is 314-974-2243. You can also find us online at peoplesnationalbank.com. People's National Bank is here for all of your banking needs.
This is Adam Betts from Family Golf and Learning Center located in Kirkwood. Our motto is play your best golf. We have the best instruction for every skill level. 2 female instructors along with our 8 PGA instructors. We're there for the kids and the adults who are starting to play and trying to refine their game. Family Golf and Learning Center features a double-decker driving range, grass tees, and a short game area, along with indoor simulators and a performance center. That's not all. Don't forget about our back 9 bar and grill. Find out how we can help you and your family. Head to familygolfonline.com. That's familygolfonline.com. It's Family Golf and Learning Center, where we make St. Louis better at golf.
I am proud to welcome the Gateway section of the PGA back to my show. Whether you're pulling into your favorite driving range, public golf course, or country club, there is an excellent chance that the staff there is part of the over 300 men and women PGA professionals at over 100 facilities that make up our Gateway section. I grew up watching so many of these fine men and women getting to the golf course at dawn, leaving at dusk, spending their entire day running events, giving lessons, and growing this great game. PGA Reach, Drive, Chip, and Putt, PGA Hope, and the fantastic PGA Junior League are a few of the examples of the programs run by these same PGA professionals. Go to gatewaypga.org to learn more, or to find your next PGA professional for your next lesson, go to pga.com. The Gateway PGA, growing the game we love.
For the best in Italian cuisine in St. Louis, look no further than Paul Manno's, located in Chesterfield. It's traditional Italian cooking, and their best ingredient? It's their tradition. It's cooking like Paul's grandmother used to make and like his mother still prepares today. There are no corners cut at Paul Manno's. From greeting you at the door to the pasta you'll share with your family, Paul Manno's is committed to bringing you their very best anytime you share a meal at their place. It's Paul Manno's, located in Chesterfield.
Recently, my nephew called me and said his basement had flooded and all the hardwood, carpet, and flooring had to be replaced. I told him I have the perfect place for you to go. At Jerseyville Flooring and Furniture, This second-generation family-owned business treats everyone just like their family. Jared Capps is continuing his mom and dad's 50-year business tradition where honesty, transparency, and service carry the day. My nephew loved the luxury vinyl product. Jerseyville Flooring and Furniture has the largest selection in the area. Whether you prefer Mohawk and the wide variety of their product lines, I love the Rev Wood product, by the way, or Karastan or Pergo Elements line, Jerseyville Flooring and Furniture will literally have you covered. You have pets? Let Jared tell you about the many sustainable flooring and carpet options that are pet-friendly but also easily maintained to keep your floors looking great every day. And don't forget about their huge selection of Lazy Boy recliners. They are awesome and one of the biggest selections in the Midwest. Call them today at 618-936-0536 and get your free estimate or set up a consultation with one of their experts. You can also go to jerseyvillecarpetandfurniture.net. Proud sponsor of Golf with Jay Delsing.
This is Jim Hackenberg, founder of Orange Whip and Orange Whip Training. You're listening to Golf with Jay Delsing.
So you've been hearing me talk about one of our community's greatest contributors and most philanthropically inclined companies. Yes, of course, I'm talking about Marcone. They're the largest distributor of General Electric appliance parts in North America. Did you know that Marcone is also the largest and most trusted supplier of commercial and residential appliance parts, HVAC, plumbing, commercial kitchens, and pools and spas? All of that's in North America as well. That's right, Marcone does all that. Marcone is committed to supporting our first responders, all the branches of service in our military, our police and firefighters, and many more. From the viewing deck at the Ascension Charity Classic, founded in honor of our military heroes, to their commitment to Wreaths Across America program, Marcone is here for you and your family as well as your community. That's Marcone, the official sponsor of the Golf with Jay Delsing show.
This is Golf with Jay Delsing. If you missed it earlier, our guest was Judy Rankin, World Golf Hall of Famer, grew up at Forest Park, like we were talking about in our last segment. That's Jay Delsing. I'm Dan McLaughlin. Judy is 79 years young, and she'll be on the call for the Solheim Cup. And for fans that don't know, Jay, what the Solheim Cup is all about, let's give them a brief description of what it's all about.
Absolutely. Danny, basically, it's the Ryder Cup for the girls, you know? So we've got the USA, red, white, and blue versus the European. Suzanne Pedersen is going to be the captain for the European side. And we've got, oh man, I mean, I just love what we got going on for the U.S. side. We've got so here are the players that are playing for the USA. We've got Nelly Korda. She's 26, and she's ranked world number 1. Lilia Vu, she's 26, and she's ranked world number 2. Then we got Lauren Coffin. She's 31, and she's 14th. This is her first Solheim Cup appearance. That's really cool. Allie Ewing, she's 31. She's got a 3-8-1 Solheim Cup record. Will be her 4th, and she's world ranked 17th. We got Allison Corpez. She is 26, and gosh, where the heck did she has this is her second Solheim Cup. Then we've got Megan Kang. She's 26. So are you looking at, Danny, these young ages? I mean, it's super, super cool. She's world ranked 21st. Andrea Lee, she's 26 as well. This will be her second. We got Rose Zhang. I love Rose. She's 21. Second Solheim Cup appearance. We've got Allison Lee. Allison's been a stalwart. She's 29 years old. She's ranked 25th in the world. And this will be her second Ryder Cup. And then we've got Lexi Thompson. Listen to this. This is her last year. Lexi is 29 years old. This is her 7th.
It's amazing.
Solheim Cup, Danny. 7th.
What'd you think of her being a pick?
I thought it was interesting, because It's a wonderful tribute to her. I'll be really curious to see how much she plays.
Yeah, I was wondering about that.
Yeah. Then we have Jennifer Kupcho. She is 27, and this will be her third Ryder Cup appearance. And we have Sarah Schmelzel. I always screw her name up. She's 30th, and this is going to be her first Solheim Cup appearance. So really super cool. The red, white, and blues got a lot of talent. They need to get this cup back, Danny. The Euros have had it for more than a couple of years. Stacey Lewis, by the way, I forgot to mention that she is the captain of the U.S. side. She's as competitive as any human being I know. She's a baller. She has played some great golf. So it's really interesting. So she went with two really experienced folks with Lexi Thompson and Jennifer Kupcho, along with the rookie Sarah Schmelzel. So that is going to be the U.S. side. Now we've got Suzanne Pedersen's side for the European team, and it's going to start off with Charlie Hull. Now, Charlie Hull has reformed her body. If you look at her when she first got on tour, she reminds me a little bit, Danny, of what Rory McIlroy looked like. Just not like fat or not, but just not really in shape. She's ripped out of her mind right now.
And still smoking.
Gotta love that.
She's having a dart on the course.
I'm like, let's go, man. If that's what you're gonna do, let's go.
Still smoking.
She's ranked 10th in the world, Danny, and she is 28 years old. Then we have Esther Henseleit. She is from Germany. She got the silver medal in the Olympics this year. So she's 25 and she's 29th in the world. We got Celine Boutier. She's from France. She had a nice appearance. This is her fourth Solheim Cup. Then we have Maja Stark from Sweden. This is her second. Lynn Grant from Sweden. You're going to see quite a few Swedes over here, Danny. She's 25 years old and playing in her second. Leona Maguire we got to get an Irish person in there. We got to have somebody that's going to show them how to have a good time and make a cheers, salute something. This is going to be her third Solheim Cup. Carlota Saganda from Spain. She's been playing extremely well. She's 34 years old. This will be her seventh. Then we got Magdalena Sagström. She is from Sweden. This is going to be her fourth. Georgia Hall from England. She is 40 years. No, what is Georgia? I just had a blank out. Georgia Hall's 28 years old. Sorry, she's ranked 40th in the world. This will be her fifth Solheim Cup. Anna Nordquist from Sweden. She's 37. This will be her ninth Solheim Cup. So there's a lot of experience on that side. And then you have Emmeline Christine Pedersen. She is a Dane from Denmark. This will be her fourth. And then Albane Valenzuela, like I was telling you, this will be her first appearance. She's 26 years old. She is a hell of a good player.
And you know her father, right?
I know her father. I played college golf with her dad, Alberto. They live down in the Bahamas now. And, just a really, really good. So the Euros have a lot more experience, Danny, and it's going to be interesting to see how this whole thing plays out. These international events, D, are really interesting to me because they're just not that easy to coordinate all of these different personalities from all sorts of different places around the world. They're playing at folks at the Robert Trent Jones Golf Club in Gainesville, Virginia, which I've been to. It's a super cool place. They had a President's Cup there years and years ago, maybe the very first President's Cup as well. So it's going to be a good competition. Last time they played, it worked out to be a draw, Danny, and so the Euros got to retain the cup because they were in possession of it too. So we got to get 1/2 point more than this side to get that cup back.
So would you rather go with experience or do something like the U.S. is doing here? Mid-20s girls that if some have been there, some have not. I like
the younger. I'll be honest. I like the younger. It's a little bit more of a wild card, Danny, but I think youth needs to be served. And when you look at what Zach Johnson did with the Ryder Cup and his picks in Rome, he went with much more of those guys. And I would have loved to see Bryson DeChambeau. I would have loved to see some of the younger, guys that are not in that cliquey little JT, Ricky, Jordan kind of club.
Yeah, I'm with you and I'm not. The experience is something that you just cannot replicate, and the pressure is on. There's just a different pressure to it, and the guys talk about that all the time. It's one thing when you're competing for yourself, you're on the PGA Tour. It's another thing when you're wearing the colors and you're competing for the guy or the gal next to you.
100%. And D, you can't buy experience.
Right.
It's one of those things, though. Who's playing well?
Yeah, just get the hot hand.
Give me a hot hand, man.
Yeah.
Who's knocking in some putts? Like, whose game is really on right now? Because, folks, we've said this on the show, I don't know how many times, but it bears repeating. Every professional golfer, Champions Tour on down the line, Korn Ferry, we make 80% of our money in 6 tournaments. And so, a great example, before John Rahm, Danny, jumped to live last year, he was the hottest golfer on the planet, won 4 tournaments early in the year, and then we never even saw his name in the last couple of majors. You know, he just wasn't around. So the game by nature is streaky. You just don't know when your putts are going to go in. So you got to keep, not having Lucas Glover on that last Ryder Cup team, Danny, was a gigantic miss, man. He was the best player in the world. He'd won 3 times.
And 2 in a row.
I know.
So that didn't make a lot of sense to me.
Not to me.
The hot hand.
Not riding the hot hand, and we also didn't have our guys ready to play.
Yep.
And they had just not competed. So anyway, these international competitions are great. Not only do we have this Solheim coming up, well, it's here, but we have the President's Cup coming up as well. So we're going to keep track of that, and that's super cool as well.
So I know something that you wanted to talk about before we had to break. We had Folds of Honor Friday at the Ascension Charity Classic. The amateur event is happening with Folds of Honor for both the men and the women, which is cool. They've added the women now into this too, which is very cool. Lieutenant Colonel Dan Rooney talked about that. I was watching Golf Channel the other day. He said, hey, scholarship recipients are almost 70% females, so why wouldn't we include the females into that? So, but let's go back to the Folds of Honor Friday at the Ascension. That was really a neat kickoff to the tournament.
So, guys, anybody that wore red, white, and blue would know this by now, because they received a special token, a Folds of Honor token for representing the colors. So, golf is the only sport that has not begun the competition in years past with the national anthem, and that's all changing now. And so we had Folds of Honor Friday. This was the first tournament on the Champions Tour where they used the national anthem to jumpstart the competition. And I think it's fantastic. And the first event on the PGA Tour, Danny, this year was the great Jack Nicklaus's event in Muirfield Village in Ohio. So now we've got, I just think it's super cool. We had a special place it was sponsored by Marcone, and it was called the Marcone First Responder and Military Viewing Deck. And anyone that wanted that fit that category got in for free. They got into the tournament for free, and we had the special place for them to watch the action, sit down, get a beverage. We had flat screen TVs and things like that, and it's just really special to both of us, Danny. I know what it means to you as well. What I found out this year is that the 13th hole, which turned out to be a bugaboo for me, was one of the coolest holes and my favorite hole, Danny, this year, because all of the volunteers on that hole were military personnel.
I didn't know that.
I did not know that either. And I got I received that coin from one fellow that I had run into. He has a service dog on the tee, and he shook my hand and gave me that coin, and it just gave me the chills. He did that on Friday, and so it was really super cool. So we just appreciate those guys. And what I learned from all of the things, doing stuff with Faraday and trying to support these men and women and all the things that they've done for us in the country, is that freedom is not free. It's not free, and some people paid the ultimate price. So hell, you and I can go out and play golf. I mean, that's pretty cool, man.
By the way, what happened on 13 with everybody? 13 was a tough hole at the Ascension. Not just you, it was everybody.
Oh, man, I double bogeyed it twice.
Yes.
I played it 5 over par for the week, which was just disastrous. But it played long as hell, Danny, and it played into the wind. And so on Friday, my first round, I hit a decent drive, but I had 214 yards to the front, and I had a bad lie in the rough, so I had to kind of chop it out, and then I hit a bad chip and 3-putted. It doesn't seem like it took much, but I was miserable. And so, Yeah, it just played long, and then it played really long on Saturday. The wind blew straight into our face about 15 miles an hour, and so I hit a bad drive, hit a bad second, hit a mediocre third, a decent fourth, a really good fifth putt that lipped out, and that's my 6.
I thought that the wind was tough all weekend long at the Ascension Chair. Not Sunday.
Yeah.
Sunday it laid.
Yep.
It was still.
Yep.
But the other 2 days made some of those holes really long.
Yeah,
and
it really
guys struggled
did.
with it.
It really did. Number 1 played long.
Yes.
Number 4 played long back into the wind with the with that back pin on Saturday. What other holes were playing long, Danny? Yeah, it made 18 play much tougher because
18.
it blew the balls all over the place.
Yep.
It blew my ball right over by the hot dog stand on Sunday.
That was tough.
It was. I don't know if I was the only guy over there, but
You weren't. I watched all weekend.
Gosh, there were some balls flying crazy over there.
That's Jay. I'm Dan. This is Golf with Jay Delsing. We'll have more coming up in a moment.
Hey, Jay Delsing here, and I know I speak for all of we golfers. We're always looking to try to improve our game. For me, that means I go to one place, and that one place is Pro-Am Golf in Brentwood. Tom DeGrand opened his family business in 1975 with a goal of providing St. Louis with the finest in golf equipment, instruction, and technology. Whether you need a new rangefinder, your first set of clubs, or anything else you can think of, Pro-Am Golf has just what you're looking for. If you're a scratch handicap or you carry a 20 handicap, come visit Pro-Am Golf and inquire about a lesson from Tom DeGrand. He's been fixing golf swings and making St. Louis better at golf for over 40 years. Go get your gear, lessons, or anything golf related where I go, and that's Pro-Am Golf in Brentwood. You can also visit them online at Pro-Am Golf USA. That's ProAmGolfUSA.com. It's Pro-Am Golf, proud sponsor of the Golf with Jay Delsing show.
Hello, friends. This is Jim Nance, and you are listening to Golf with my friend Jay Delsing.
A professional golfer, as you watch on TV every Sunday afternoon, never ventures onto the course without his trusted caddy. This was true for me for my entire career. I want you to think of Powers Insurance as your insurance caddy that you never had. Just as my golf caddy helped me to assess risk on the golf course, Powers Insurance can do the same for you in your busy and complicated life. Tim Davis, COO at Powers Insurance, did exactly that for me and saved me over 50% on one of my coverages. A good insurance risk advisor can help you know when to take a chance or when it may be smarter to take a little more club. Give the folks at Powers Insurance a call and get a caddy for all of your insurance needs. Call them at 314-725-1414. That's 314-725-1414. That's Powers Insurance.
Family Golf and Learning Center. No matter your age or skill level, Family Golf and Learning Center, located in Kirkwood, has something for you. They've got it all. PGA and LPGA instruction, double-decker driving range, par 3 golf course, TrackMan simulators, a large short game green design to help you with all your shots around the green, bunkers, rough, and Zoysia fairway pitching. And now open, the Tahoma Bermuda Grass Tees, the best turf to hit from in St. Louis. It's all at Family Golf and Learning Center. To schedule a lesson or to find out more, visit FamilyGolfOnline.com. That's FamilyGolfOnline.com. Family Golf and Learning Center. We make St. Louis better at golf.
Hey, this is Jay Delsing for SSM Health Physical Therapy. Our golf program has the same screening techniques and technology as the pros on the PGA Tour use. SSM Health Physical Therapy has the Titleist Performance Institute trained physical therapists that can perform the TPI screening on you, as well as use the K-Vest 3D motion capture system. Proper posture, alignment, etc. can help you keep your game right down the middle. We have 80 locations in the St. Louis area. Call 800-518-1626 or visit them on the web at ssmphysicaltherapy.com. Your therapy, our passion.
Golf with Jay Delsing rolls on with Jay. I'm Dan. Earlier in the show, we heard from Judy Rankin. We've talked about the Solheim Cup. Let's talk about the PGA Tour. It's really kind of a down time in the PGA Tour, but that doesn't mean there's not something happening. And when you think about the events that are coming up, this is important for guys that are on the cusp of being in the top 125 or getting to the top 50, those kind of things, to make sure that they assure that their card is intact for the next couple of years, or getting exemptions into majors, all those things. It's a very important stretch of golf coming up.
Oh, Danny, absolutely it is. I mean, they're headed to Napa, and it's a time, generally speaking, where some of the top players don't play, and there's still tournaments going on, D. There's still great golf being played. There's still tons and millions of dollars being raised for charity, but you're absolutely right. I mean, I didn't care who was playing when I played. You know what I mean? I'm like, we got a golf tournament to play in. They're going to give away prize money, and we're going to compete for a championship. Let's go. I mean, let's do it.
Yeah, and there's some big names that'll be on these leaderboards too. Now, you won't see Schauffele, you won't see Scheffler, but you're going to see others, and that's what makes this important here, this stretch of golf in the next, let's say, 4 to 6 weeks.
Absolutely, it does, Danny. It's everything. I mean, all these guys need is a place to play and a little bit of confidence, and I mean, you're going to see them show up more and more on the leaderboards with that confidence. So it's an excellent thing for them to take advantage of. And Danny, I got word that the great Randy Smith has agreed to come on our show. He is Scotty Scheffler's coach and also Jordan Spieth's coach.
Is that right?
Swing coach, yeah. So we're gonna get Randy on the show and get to break down some of this year that Scotty Scheffler's had. I'm really excited about that.
Let's get into this a little bit. Does a swing coach always travel with his player, or is there video going to be sent? Is it maybe I'll stop in every other week? How does that work normally?
A lot depends on the player, Danny, and the event, right? So with the tech aspect of it, you can send, not only can you send videos of your swing, you can send information from your TrackMan. So guys, a TrackMan is a device that is standard equipment for most PGA Tour players, costs about $25,000, $28,000. These guys are walking around with this computer, and it's just a data-driven beast. You swing the club, it'll tell you how fast you swing, it'll tell you the path you swing, it'll tell you how much your ball spins. It'll not only tell you how much it spins, it'll tell you if it spins to the right, it tells you if it spins to the left. It'll give you the percent in degrees of how much you came in to out or out to in. It'll tell you how much your club face is open or closed. It is a data spewing machine, and these guys can send all that data to their swing coaches as well as a swing video. So a lot depends, Danny. You'll see the swing coaches show up almost regularly for the majors. Almost. So at Augusta, at the U.S. Open, not as much for the Open Championship because it's such a long flight, but for some of the top players, it doesn't matter. They're flying privately over there, and they'll just load up the bus meaning the airplane, the G5, and let's go. So, or the G6, I guess it is now. But for some of the other guys, they'll do it that don't have those sort of resources. They'll do it through, their phones and through the internet. And so it's a phenomenal tool, Danny, that's so necessary so that you don't ever feel like you get too far off.
One of the neat things that was announced this week, at least I like it, maybe it's run its course. I want to get your thoughts. I don't think it has, because if you get these kind of names in it together, I think you can have fun with it. But Scotty Scheffler, Rory McIlroy will team up PGA Tour loyalists to face reigning U.S. Open winner Bryson DeChambeau, 5-time major champ Brooks Koepka of LIV, made for TV match in Vegas later this year. I like it. I think it's good for golf.
Oh, absolutely. It's good for golf. Plus, we're not getting to see Bryson and Brooks play enough. It's absolutely. I mean, Danny, what about, we should probably talk about this weirdness of the LIV money list and how these guys are supposedly they're threatening to be relegated, which means they get kicked off the tour.
Bubba Watson, he's number one on that list, and he leads his team. So his team would have to say, you're out.
Yeah, Phil Mickelson.
That's another one.
Yep.
So what do you do with those guys?
I don't know. We don't know the rules. We don't even know if their contracts are up. So, if their contracts are up, then they can literally be booted. They say they can be. We don't know if Phil Mickelson's got an 8-year contract or a 3-year contract. There's no transparency. We don't know.
So my question would be, and I was thinking about this watching the Ascension last weekend, and knowing that Bubba Watson is there and Phil Mickelson is there and some other big names are coming up right at the age of 50, would they be welcome back to PGA Tour champions? Would the tour say, we're going to bite the bullet on this because as much as we disdain what you did, we know it's in the best interest for us to have Phil Mickelson playing on a Champions Tour event, if he'd be willing to do it. But I wonder if they'd be willing to do that.
Well, first of all, that's a great question, because there's no pathway back right now. So let's say for some weird thing, and this will not happen. This 100% will not happen. Liv doesn't re-sign Phil. And we're also assuming his current contract's running its course. We don't know that either. Phil will be playing Liv golf. He will not be playing PGA Tour golf. Neither side wants it. I mean, I would welcome him. I would love to see him play somewhere on a PGA Tour Champions. I would love it.
Be great for the tour.
I agree, but he's not. I don't think he's going to do it. And right now, he's not even a tour member, so there's no pathway back because he's not allowed to rejoin. So we'd have to do something.
That's what I'm saying. Would the PGA Tour step in and say, okay, enough time has passed. Bygones be bygones. We don't like what you've done, but, or am I just crazy in thinking this?
I think you're crazy in thinking it right now.
I do too.
Unfortunately, though, D, I wish you weren't, because I want it. I want something, whether there's a fine. You know what? They could go. The Saudis would wind up paying the fine. I mean, you could figure it out. But the bottom line is this. How is a guy like, who we got to say? How? Because none of the current Champions Tour players turned down Liv money. Okay? So let's go for regular tour. We know that Bryson DeChambeau and Brooksy accepted over $100 million contracts. We don't know how long, none of that, right? Okay, fine. We also know that Rory and Scotty Scheff turned down more. How does this work, D? How do you say to Rory and how do you say to Scheffler, well, they're going to come back, and now they're going to compete with you for the PGA Tour prize money because we want them back?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I know you turned down $800 million or $400 million or all the, but we want them back because it's better for the game, and that's a tough one.
The one that I'd be really careful about, the name that no one talks about, and I'm going to throw this at you and see what you think.
I love this.
That is so important for both tours because it's a worldwide brand, is Hideki Matsuyama.
Yep.
And if you got that name on your tour, the amount of media that covers you, getting into the Asian marketplace, of what that means. I mean, it's so important to keep him on tour, and whatever tour gets him, I mean, if I'm Liv, he's my number one guy I'm going after. May not be the big. Now, you could say, what about Scotty Scheffler? What about Matt Corral? I get that.
Right.
But Matsuyama would be huge.
Oh, Danny.
Huge.
So, D, when Hideki Matsuyama won the Masters a couple of years ago, it was the biggest. It had the biggest impact on golf because the Far Eastern market is so golf crazy.
Right.
The Japanese love their golf. And his impact in winning that championship was bigger than Tiger Woods winning it. And it was more significant in that region. And I agree with you. We know that Liv's been going after him, and they've been going after him hard. It's interesting. If you're Hideki, why go?
Maybe you market yourself even in a bigger way with the money. I don't know. I mean, your biggest marketing tool is the PGA Tour.
Yeah.
You're not going to get it off of Liv.
No, and you're playing less.
Right.
So I don't know. But, who knows? I mean, we don't know. He pulled out of the BMW championship after being in second place after wiping the floor with everybody down in Memphis. He pulls out of the BMW championship at Castle Pines because of a bad back. Danny, if I got a bad back and someone's talking about maybe me needing surgery, maybe 14 events on the Live Tour for $200 million isn't that bad of an idea.
That's where I go with Koepka. I almost give him an asterisk because I say,
agree.
he had the bad knee, and he wasn't sure how he would respond off a surgery. It was serious surgery and what he had to deal with. So am I going to be the same player when I come back when I'm getting this guaranteed money? It's tough to turn down.
I got to tell you, DeChambeau was probably in the same boat because he broke his helmet bone, remember?
Yeah,
in his
that's
hand.
right.
And so he was out for 6 or 8 weeks. And he was still doing that kind of the Hulk golf version,
crazy.
So I'm sure he was thinking, this thing's going to break down.
I'll throw you another name, Victor Hovland.
Yeah.
He would be an interesting one for Live too.
Yeah.
And another guy that's kind of been up and down and up and down year, and you say, I'm getting this guaranteed money. I got to look at it. I got to at least look at it.
Here's a kid. He won the FedEx Cup last year.
Yep.
He was absolutely on fire. Man, he lit up. Remember lighting up the back nine at Olympia Fields up in Chicago? Just lit it up. And here's a kid that went on and won $35 million down at the Tour Championship. And what did he do with that money? He took his mom on vacation.
Right. Right.
So I don't know if the money means anything to him because that kind of money that he made last year, he'll never blow through that.
Yeah.
He'll never blow through that.
So how much do you need? It's the question that we ask with everybody.
Well,
how much is enough?
And that thing has come back to bite John Rahm just so hard. And he has waffled and said, he missed the tour. I made a bad decision. I know I didn't. So I don't know, man. It's interesting. It's always interesting at this time of year as the seasons are wrapping up, and then you wonder, what is Liv going to do? What are they really thinking about doing?
And it's the point that I said all the time was you're going to have these big names leave, which they have. You had Mickelson leave. You had Bubba Watson. Guys
Brooks
that you'd see him every Saturday.
Yep.
But you can't overlook the fact you're going to have another wave of superstars coming through on the PGA Tour, and that's what happened this year.
Look at the
new wave. That's what I'm talking about.
He's a new superstar in the waiting. You see that. You're talking about a lot of really, really good young players that are going to step up and fill that vacuum, man.
Yeah, and they have.
Absolutely they have, Danny, and it's fun.
Yes.
And all of a sudden you have a new guy, and he knocks off a major. I mean, look at what Xander Schauffele did this year, winning that first major. Now he is like a dog on a bone, man. He is on it all the time.
That's Jay. I'm Dan. This is Golf with Jay Delsing. Final segment coming up. We'll head to the mailbag, and that's next.
Darty Business Solutions has been enhancing the business of our customers for the last 37 years. How do we do it? Through our expertise in technology, better use of data and analytics, artificial intelligence, and machine learning. We roll up our sleeves and collaborate. We build applications and effectively communicate with our partner clients to bring their goals and objectives to the finish line. Our award-winning Access Point program is a community game changer. With nearly 100 students in the program, mostly young African-American females are making between $55,000 and $60,000 per year right out of high school. That's right, $55,000 to $60,000 a year right after high school graduation. That's when they begin their training. CEO Ron Darty believes the talent is equally distributed, but access to that opportunity is not. So here's Access Point, providing more and more opportunity for those in and around our community. It's Darty Business Solutions.
This is Dan McLaughlin, inviting you to the 22nd Annual Dan McLaughlin Tournament coming up October 14th at Norwood Hills Country Club. This is all to benefit the Special Education Foundation. By participating, you'll support programs benefiting students with disabilities, making a tangible impact on their lives. Also, your involvement directly contributes to SEF's initiatives, providing resources and opportunities for these students to excel academically and beyond. This golf tournament has raised over $5 million throughout the years, and we want you to be a part of it. October 14th, the Dan McLaughlin Golf Tournament for the 22nd year at Norwood Hills Country Club. To find out more, visit sef-stl.org. If you'd like to play, participate, or donate, again, that's sef-stl.org. And I'll see you on October 14th.
Are you driving an out-of-warranty car? It's only a matter of time before your out-of-warranty vehicle is in the shop costing you thousands of dollars. Auto repair costs are up nearly 20% from last year, which is 4 times the rate of inflation. If an unexpected breakdown happened today, would you be ready for that? Well, now you can be with a plan through CarShield. Even if your car is just over 3 years old, it's still prone to expensive costs. Your car is more than just getting you from point A to point B. Traveling by car is a way of life. From picking up your kids to going to a new restaurant, cars are a daily essential. When you enroll in a car protection plan through CarShield, you can look forward to the following. The price will never go up no matter how many claims you file, or no matter how high the mileage on your car increases. CarShield offers protection plans that start as low as $100 per month. That's $100 per month. They have repair coverage for up to 5,000 different parts of your vehicle. Plus, when your car breaks down and you're stuck on the side of the road, you get 24/7 coast-to-coast roadside assistance. You also get complimentary towing and rental car options. CarShield has my back when my car breaks down, and they can have yours too. Call CarShield today at 800-465-6550 or visit carshield.com. It's CarShield, proud sponsor of the Golf with Jay Delsing show.
Hi, this is Adam Betts from Family Golf and Learning Center. You're listening to Golf with Jay Delsing.
Do you remember the golden rule? I'm sure you do, but just in case, it goes like this. Treat people the way that you'd like to be treated. At People's National Bank, that one statement is the cornerstone of what this bank is all about. Locally owned, with 23 locations in Southern Illinois and the metropolitan St. Louis area, People's National Bank parlays a robust menu of commercial or personal banking services you could possibly need with a friendly yet hardworking Midwestern attitude. Maybe you just want to do business with a bank whose entire team lives in the same neighborhoods as we do. If you're like me and doing business with someone you trust is important to you, then People's National Bank is the bank for you. Jason Rantham, local president, is here for you to call, and he'll answer any questions you may have. His personal cell is 314-974-2243. You can also find us online at peoplesnationalbank.com. People's National Bank is here for all of your banking needs.
You're listening to Golf with Jay Delsing, brought to you by CarShield and Doherty Business Solutions. Every Sunday morning from 8 to 10. It features top guests, tips from a PGA Tour player, and the latest news and notes from around the world of golf. This is Golf with Jay Delsing.
If you're in the market for a new or used vehicle, any make or model, then you need to visit the Dean Team Volkswagen of Kirkwood. They are the official vehicle provider of the Golf with Jay Delsing show. My daughter and I both drive vehicles supplied by Colin and the Dean Team Volkswagen of Kirkwood, and it's because we know we can trust them. They made the car buying experience painless and easy, and their customer service is second to none. Every single step of the car buying experience was taken care of for us. You can reach Colin at 314-966-0303, and he will answer all of your questions and put your mind at ease. The Dean Team Volkswagen of Kirkwood has new or pre-owned vehicles to be purchased or leased, whichever you prefer. Once you visit the Dean Team Volkswagen on Manchester in Kirkwood, you'll be a customer for life because they will treat you like family. The Dean Team Volkswagen of Kirkwood, the official vehicle provider of the Golf with Jay Delsing show.
Golf with Jay Delsing. In our final segment, it is the mailbag, and you can email us, jay@jdelsinggolf.com, jay@jdelsinggolf.com. That's Jay, I'm Dan, and a lot of people have been emailing us about, especially after watching Bernard Langer in the Ascension Charity Classic, about the belly putter, if you will, whatever you want to call it.
Yep, broom handle, broomstick, whatever.
Whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
You have dealt with this. Do you advise it? Is it something that you would even teach?
Absolutely. If you have back issues and being able to stand up straighter like that helps a lot, that is fantastic. If you have a bulky kind of hand that wants to, kind of flinch on you a little bit, then this is definitely the putting stroke for you. It's got a lot of validity. It's weird. I'm just going to tell you, it's weird for someone like me that's that's putted traditionally, for my entire career. It's an odd one. It's an odd one, but it helps a lot. I mean, Danny, you were mentioning to me, we know that Scotty McCarron has had the yips, most of his adult life, and he's holding on to that putter like it's he's just barely tapping it with his thumb and forefinger of his right hand way down the shaft. It's barely holding on.
So was this primarily made for the yips initially?
Yes.
That's how it all came about?
Absolutely. It's an alternative to try to calm everything down and to slow it down a little bit, D. And, I just think it's so interesting when you go out and watch what we watched at the Champions Tour there in Norwood. Look at how Stuart Sink was putting. Because he's got the left hand on conventionally. Then he's got what is called the pencil grip, where he's holding the shaft almost identically to how you'd hold a pencil.
You're right.
If you were writing, some paper down on a piece of paper. So, and then you look at guys that like Cliff Kresge, who's completely confused because he puts left-handed, cross-handed. And does everything else right. I'm like, dude, wow.
Yeah.
That's the end of the barrel there, D. When you're at that part, there's like, we got maybe one other option, and then we tried everything.
With guys that are like that, I've always been curious, if you're paired with them, do you look away on some of this stuff and not pay attention? Because I'm sure you're trying to get a line on certain things, see how putts roll, do whatever.
Sometimes I'll watch just the ball. Like, I don't like watching some of the mannerisms and some of the quirkiness. Wow.
Yeah.
I just don't want to be that quirky. I know we're all, crazy and stuff, but like my daughter caddying for me, she's like, Dad, this is kind of a freak show out here. And I'm like, we're crazy.
The circus is in town.
Absolutely. I'm like, McGinnis, we've been doing this for a long time. And they're just trying to figure out a way to get the ball in the hole. Like, how in the heck can we do this differently to get the ball in the hole, man? Just please go in the hole.
So when you have the quote-unquote the belly putter, technically, though, cannot rest on any part of the body.
Yeah, it's not really the belly putter. So the belly putter did rest on your belly, but it's so easily confused because of the length of the shaft. This is a putter that's going to go almost, so if you stand up straight and just flex over slightly, this putter shaft is going to go almost to the center of your chest. And then you're going to decide whether I put my right hand at the butt end of the grip or my left. And then whichever hand you choose to go on the grip end, the other one goes down the shaft, and you just swing it, and it swings much more like a pendulum.
All right, Chris in St. Louis wants to know about sliding on a swing. Jay, my teacher tells me I'm sliding on a swing. What am I doing?
Well, your hips. So what your hips are moving. Your hips, instead of moving in a rotary or a round type fashion, they're going lateral, meaning they're going back and forth. So this is the way I liken this to give you folks a visual of what sliding looks like. Imagine you go, who's the greatest right-handed baseball hitter you ever saw?
Albert Pujols.
Right on. I love Albert. So imagine you watched Albert Pujols trying to hit a baseball, and when the pitch came in, Danny, he coiled on that back leg and set in his right hip, and that's loading up. Imagine if he took that right hip and slid it towards the catcher when the pitch came in. He wouldn't hit anything, would he?
Right.
That's what sliding is. And then as you move forward, instead of turning and snapping that lower body, if he just kept moving it laterally forward, that'd be a slide forward. So that's what you want to do. So you want to brace that let's say you're a right-handed golfer, brace that trailed knee and brace that hip and don't let it go outside your knee. And then that's your backswing. And then as you unwind, let her rip, man. Transfer the weight from your right side to your left, plant your left heel, pivot on that left foot, and move in a circle.
I like this one, and this is a general question. Mike in South County. Jay followed you at the Ascension. Did you have a favorite moment, favorite hole? What was it just in general for you?
That was awesome, Mike, and thank you for this question because I did. It was having my daughter in the bag, getting to play in front of my friends and the people I love, Danny, like you. Joe Sheezer was there. We had Jim Zimmerman was out. We had so many well wishes from the Norwood members and the volunteers. But the favorite part was having Mackenzie on the bag. And, I think it was just getting the it's interesting. So I start off my Friday round. I'm last group off on number 10. And as you know, number 10 is a par 3 at Norwood. So the flag stick is located in the front left. It's tucked right around there by a bunker, and there's a big bank just to the left of it. So my thought processes are, I'm going to aim this thing out to the right, I'm going to draw this thing towards the hole, and if I overdraw it a little, it's going to hit that bank and roll right next to the hole. So I hit this shot, and it's drawing at the pin. It overdraws just a little bit. It hits the bank, and instead of rolling towards the hole, it rolls up the hill and gets stuck in the tall grass.
I couldn't believe it.
And Mackenzie looks at me, she goes, Dad, I go, and then Corey Pavin is playing in the group behind us, and he goes, you just got, and I'm like, right out of the hopper, baby. It just keeps coming. And Mackenzie's like, Dad, that ball shouldn't do that. That ball should be, and I said, nope, you're right. It should be rolling down. So we got up there, and that, Danny, that might have been the best shot I hit in the tournament, that little chip. It was, I only had to fly it about 6 inches, but I couldn't hit it too hard or else it would have taken off and rolled down that hill and rolled 15 or 20 feet away, and I hit it down there just a couple feet. That was a hard shot right out of the hopper.
I would imagine the answer is yes, and that'll make the everyday golfer out there say, yeah, I feel the same way. Do you still get nervous when you play?
Oh, I do. I love it. I love the adrenaline. I love how it rushes through you. I love standing over. So here's the hardest thing about golf. And Danny, we should try to figure out, how do we compare this to other sports? Because when your adrenaline kicks in, you want to go hard and fast. Hard and fast, hard and fast. So swinging the club, you can get in trouble by going too fast, but hitting it hard is super fun, right? But putting, you don't want to hit it too hard. You never are trying to hit a putt hard. You might hit a putt with some speed on it, but you're never really thinking hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's the difficult part about managing that adrenaline. What other sports, Diddy? I guess basketball jumping high is one thing, but you never want to shoot a free throw hard. You need to have that touch, that fluidity. So that's probably a case. And maybe throwing a football as a quarterback, you get that adrenaline rolling, and you got to throw that little touch screen pass. That's probably no good either.
One of the things I noticed, too, at the Ascension is in watching guys that have been at the highest levels. Y.E. Yang has won the 2009 PGA Championship.
Crazy.
And Bernard Langer has won the Masters. I mean, there's great players that were out there. Is that guys rarely, and I mean rarely, left their putt short. They are trying to make on everything, and you talk about that all the time. You're looking to make on everything.
It's one of the first things I tell my
Don't lag, so to speak.
Right. I'm not lagging from 50 feet. I mean, I know the odds of it going in are slim, but I'm still aiming at the hole. And it's one of the things I tell my amateurs all the time. And folks, this is a great mental tip for you. Try to hole every putt. Don't hit one putt where you're concerned about the next putt. Don't do it. You'll screw that putt up. And I tell people there's a massive difference between trying to putt to make and trying to putt not to miss. When you putt not to miss, it's defensive and things just don't go your way, man.
I loved it too. And I actually leaned over to Joe Sheezer and I said, boy, we've seen this a time or two. You were ready to make your putt. and then something landed on either your ball or on your leg.
Yeah.
And you stepped out and then did your whole process over again.
Yeah.
There was a rhythm to what you were doing.
Yeah, I try to do it, Danny, almost liken it to shooting a basketball, like if you and I were shagging basketballs for each other, and I'm under the rim in the hoop, and you're out working, say, the 3-point line or around the key. I'll be bouncing that ball, bounce passing it to you. It'll take one bounce. It'll hit you right where your hands are, right up above belt high. You step into that shot and you stroke the shot. That's kind of how I like to putt, where I look at the hole and it's kind of like I'm staying in motion. It feels more athletic that way.
Final thoughts on the Ascension Charity Classic as we wrap up the show. The forum is yours. Just your thoughts of playing, being a representative of this and what it means to you, just the entire experience of what it was like for you.
One word, and it's gratitude. I'm grateful for the opportunity that Ascension gave me to play in the tournament these 3 years. I'm grateful for the fact that I'm an ambassador with you on a great team with Alonzo and Tim and Connor and Ellen and Maggie and all those great people. I'm grateful for the city of St. Louis that shows up and outkicks our coverage and spends their money. I'm grateful for Ron Kay, who stepped up, who by the way, Stiefel still had a presence before this extension. So I'm grateful for that as well, and just grateful for the HNS team, Dan Sullivan, Kip Erickson, all those guys. They just do it, man. It is just absolutely fantastic. I'm just so grateful I get to do it.
Grateful to do this show. Congratulations on another great year, and we'll do it again next Sunday. How do we end the show?
Just great, Danny. Thanks a million. Hit 'em straight, St. Louis. A professional golfer, as you watch on TV every Sunday afternoon, never ventures onto the course without his trusted caddy. This was true for me for my entire career. I want you to think of Powers Insurance as your insurance caddy that you never had. Just as my golf caddy helped me to assess risk on the golf course, Powers Insurance can do the same for you in your busy and complicated life. Tim Davis, COO at Powers Insurance, did exactly that for me and saved me over 50% on one of my coverages. A good insurance risk advisor can help you know when to take a chance or when it may be smarter to take a little more club. Give the folks at Powers Insurance a call and get a caddy for all of your insurance needs. Call them at 314-725-1414. That's 314-725-1414. That's Powers Insurance.
Hi, this is Adam Betts from Family Golf and Learning Center. At FGLC here in Kirkwood, we feature a double-decker driving range, 2 large grass tees with Tahoma Bermuda grass. You want to work on your short game? We have a short game area too, which features a 20,000 square foot green, 3 bunkers, and Zoysia surrounds. Also at Family Golf and Learning Center, don't forget about our 9-hole par 3 course, the indoor TrackMan simulators, and our performance center. If you're looking for the best golf instruction, regardless of skill, we can help. Find out more at FamilyGolfOnline.com. That's FamilyGolfOnline.com. Family Golf and Learning Center. We make St. Louis better at golf.
I am delighted to welcome Folds of Honor to the Golf with Jay Delsing show. Lieutenant Colonel Dan Rooney and his team donate 91% of all funds directly to these scholarships. And oh, by the way, to date, 52,000 of these life-changing scholarships have been awarded since 2007. 45% of those 52,000 scholarships have been awarded to minority recipients. So join the Folds of Honor team today and donate at foldsofhonor.com. Daugherty Business Solutions has been enhancing the business of our customers for the last 37 years. How do we do it? Through our expertise in technology, better use of data and analytics, artificial intelligence, and machine learning. We roll up our sleeves and collaborate. We build applications and effectively communicate with our partner clients to bring their goals and objectives to the finish line. Our award-winning Access Point program is a community game changer. With nearly 100 students in the program, mostly young African-American females are making between $55,000 and $60,000 per year right out of high school. That's right, $55,000 to $60,000 a year right after high school graduation. That's when they begin their training. CEO Ron Daugherty believes the talent is equally distributed, but access to that opportunity is not. So here's Access Point, providing more and more opportunity for those in and around our community. It's Daugherty Business Solutions.
For the best in Italian cuisine in St. Louis, look no further than Paul Manno's, located in Chesterfield. It's traditional Italian cooking, and their best ingredient, it's their tradition. It's cooking like Paul's grandmother used to make and like his mother still prepares today. There are no corners cut at Paul Manno's. From greeting you at the door to the pasta you'll share with your family, Paul Manno's is committed to bringing you their very best anytime you share a meal at their place. It's Paul Manno's, located in Chesterfield.